In 2013, Mitch Weiss decided to take a path any lesser man wouldn't dare travel. He now finds himself training to become the Midwest's most knowledgeable sports broadcaster. Focusing on Big Ten and Detroit sports teams, he decided to create a dwelling where his training would go undisturbed, a cave. More specifically, the man cave.
No girls allowed.
Mitch enlisted a team of highly sophisticated cavemen into his service to assist him in his tireless search for, well, sports stuff. When they're not sleeping, eating, or, oh yeah, they're analyzing sports, as best a caveman can. You have now entered the man cave.
And now, the Cavemen. Danny Weiss is the youngest member of the Cavemen. This Homo erectus enjoys spending time hunting, but will also gather from time to time. He possesses a striking resemblance to Man Bear Pig, and often laughs at his own jokes. Milton O'Quinn III is a native of Metro Detroit. He is a die-hard Lions fan and has the daunting task of being the president and only member of the Joey Harrington fan club. When not watching the Lions, he enjoys candlelit baths and his favorite album, Big Willie Style. Born on February 30th, D-Mac hails from the inner city of Bloomfield Hills. He enjoys taking selfies and hopes that one day Ryan Gosling will get a tattoo of Sparty on his chest.
Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mitch.
And this is the Man Cave.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Mitch's Man Cave. So let's get into the Tigers' latest road trip. They really struggled. They lost 4 or 5 games. They lost 2 games, 1-0 in 11 innings. And they went through a stretch where they scored only 9 runs in 39 innings. For this lineup, 9 runs in 39 innings is unacceptable. And especially to waste good starting performances like they had during that stretch.
Starting was great.
So as a team right now, the Tigers have the 3rd most runs. They're 1st in batting average. They're 1st in on-base percentage. We're 6th in slugging, 9th in ERA, 3rd in quality starts. And I think it's really coming down to the bullpen. They're getting spotty work, obviously, from Valverde the last couple times he's been out there. Benoit's been pitching great. My thought on Valverde is he shouldn't be the closer. I think they need to give Benoit a chance. He allowed 2 earned runs in the entire month of May, and those are both in one game. So take out that one game, he didn't allow 1 run the entire month.
Yeah, I mean it could be the pitchers. You can't really put it on the offense because if you actually look at point differential, we're up 66 points on all our games. So I mean we're in the ranks of St. Louis, Cincinnati. I mean, everybody else is kind of in the dust. Boston's up there. But, you know, if you go by that statistic alone, we're the 3rd best team in the league. And, yeah, I guess you got to put that on the defense, right? Because our offense is doing it.
Yeah, well, the defense hasn't been terrible. I wouldn't give them an A.
Right.
But definitely C+ B range. I mean, they're steady. They don't make spectacular plays, but they're reliable.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, we're just being tough on Detroit right now. They're the 1st in
right.
the AL Central.
We're still 1st in the division, but is that more of us being good or our division being bad?
Right. We're not in the AL East.
Right.
We're not in the NL Central, so yeah.
And it's an interesting fact about Valverde. On Saturday, you know, he blew the game, but before that game, coming into the game, he had a .75 ERA and .58 WHIP. So those are pretty good numbers, but
It's a second blown save, though, isn't it?
second blown save,
And how many opportunities?
too many opportunities.
Well, how many save opportunities has he had on the season?
Well, he's 6 saves, 2 blown saves. I don't know how many Alberts.
So he's 6 for 8.
Right.
That's not very good. I mean, only 8 chances. He's already blown 2.
Right. the Tigers will step it up. I'm looking forward to this next series with the Rays. I mean, you got Anibal Sanchez leading it off. He's 5-5. He needs to step it up. Going against Matt Moore, who's 8-0 right now, so that's a little intimidating. But then down the stretch, we got Pfister, who's been playing pretty well, and then Max Scherzer, 7-0.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that about? I'm liking it.
He's starting to solidify himself in that upper echelon of starting pitchers.
Yeah, he's solid.
He always had the stuff, but he wasn't able to put it together. But lately, he has been. But
how old is he now?
Scherzer's 28.
Yeah,
and he's entering the prime of his career.
Exactly.
Right.
So we've got him in his prime. We got Verlander in his prime. Sanchez in his prime. Pfister in his prime. Porcello is what he is at this point.
He's fine for a fifth starter.
He's fine for a fifth starter. His strengths as a sinker ball pitcher, he's probably better suited to be with a team that's better defensively, just because he's giving up a ton of ground balls. And our left side of the infield, our defensively, we're not going to get to many of his ground balls, which kind of hurts him. But
our average weight, little fun fact, our average weight in the infield is 230 pounds.
So we got a bunch of linebackers in our infield.
Fielder, big boy.
Yeah. So going back to Valverde, my thing with him, he's got the mentality and the intimidation factor going his way, and the track record, because he's been a good closer in the league for a while.
And the hairdo.
Whether it's his beard or his actual
and
hair.
The facial hair. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, starting last postseason, he's become a one-pitch pitcher, and that one pitch is not very good. It's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball that doesn't have much movement on it, and unless your location is spot on, big league hitters are going to eat that up. Yeah. And so over the long haul, that's not going to fare well.
Right.
2011, 49 saves, no blown saves. And last year had 5 blown saves, 35 saves.
So this year he's had half as many blown
right.
saves pretty much as all of last season, and only 8 appearances.
I don't know how much of it is mental or if it's just people figuring him out. I don't know.
I don't think it's mental. I think it's the fact that he's not throwing that splitter or split finger, I forgot which one it is, that made him so effective. He's just got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and if it's not located perfectly, teams are eating him up.
Right.
Why can't we find a closer? We've had these like average closers, seems like.
Yeah, and then they leave us and they become the best closers in the game.
Right.
Like Jason Grilly, best closer right now. He's I think 22 of 22 on save. He
Fernando
killed
Rodney,
us.
we were talking about, was playing pretty good ball.
Yeah, Rodney was an all-star last year.
I think Jose is over the hill. I mean, he went to the All-Star game in 2010. It's 2013 now.
And he's had a steady regression each season. I mean, 2011 not blowing a save, but at the end of last season and then into the playoffs, and now this year. I mean, the fact that he was a free agent over this past offseason and no one even gave him the light of day until we signed him to a minor league contract when we were going committee with Phil Koch and whoever else.
I mean, he's in his 10th year. Detroit's got upper echelon of pitchers. I just don't think Valverde fits into that mix.
No. So, Milt, why don't you give us our weekly poll question, segueing off of what we just talked about.
All right, well, this week's poll question is, should the Detroit Tigers replace Jose Valverde? Yes, internally with a player already on the roster. Yes, externally with a trade. And no, get him out of town.
The Detroit Tigers have enough talent where he's not going to make or break our season. That I could be wrong in saying that, but I don't believe that. You have to let, Papa Grande have a make or break season. I think they need to allow him to do that, and this could either be the start of the end of his career or the end of his career. It's up to him. Regardless of that, I think he has 2, maybe 3 max years left in him.
Well, let me ask you this. How long is his leash for this year? Because as a team, we're built to win now. And, Mr. Illich isn't really looking down the road. He wants a championship while he's owner. And as much as Valverde has had success in the past, for this season, he could be the reason why we break if we don't have stability at the back end of our bullpen.
Yeah.
Because having the 3rd best run differential in all of baseball,
right,
and only being 5 games over 500, something's not right there.
Yeah. I think you give Papa Grande till mid-July. If not, we pull up a youngster, make a trade, something.
I mean, that's around where the trade deadline.
Right. Well, luckily for us, we're in a division where we can kind of afford to give him a couple more opportunities before the Midsummer Classic, and then see where we're at.
But again, let's not forget what he did. Milton, you had those stats about what he was doing before that last game. I mean, he's been performing, and Tigers fans are tough. Detroit Red Wings fans are tough. Lions fans are tough. We're used to getting the back end. We have a couple good outings, and then all of a sudden we blow it. But what were those stats before this last game?
Before Saturday's meltdown,
Right.
.75 ERA and a .58 WHIP. He was kind of killing it, but in Baltimore, it's bad for our starting pitchers who pitch a great game and then give him the ball in the 8th, and he just he ruins their stats. They don't get the win.
Well, he gets it in the 9th. Benoit's been great. I mean, he's come in. He's only allowed 2 runs the entire month.
He's been good. Smiley's been good. I mean, those two have really been the only reliable two coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, but how much do you really need a long reliever?
No.
I mean, Smiley's our long reliever, and he's our second or third best relief pitcher. I mean, that's good, but that's not really where you want your quality.
I know. I mean, Fister can go.
They can all go.
They can all go.
The starting pitching is not.
Verlander can obviously go.
Starting pitching is not the issue.
So what's your answer then, Mitch? Yes, internally.
I think yes internally.
Yeah. Who? And then who would you have?
I'd go Benoit.
Yeah.
I'm putting Benoit out there.
I agree with you. I think
he's got multiple pitches. We're paying him $5.5 million a year, and he's also in the last year of his contract, so he's got something to play for.
Yeah, true.
25% of our listeners agree with you, and then 50% think Valverde's doing just fine. And
I mean, I'd
really
agree with the majority. I think you need to at least give him till the All-Star break, and then make a big decision. You hear that, Papa Grande?
He's at the salon right now.
July, make or break.
All right, we're going to jump from the Valverde drama, the Papa Grande drama, to the other drama going on in Detroit, the Pistons head coaching search. So Mo Cheeks was in town this past weekend for his 3rd interview, and it was the first one where he was actually physically in Detroit. I am not a big fan if he gets hired. He had 8 years of head coaching experience prior to him being interviewed now, and he's made the playoffs in 3 of those 8 and never made it out of the first round. He's got a sub 500 overall record. His greatest coaching moment came when he helped that girl finish the national anthem when he was with Portland. I'm just not seeing it.
That was a great moment, though. You got to give him that.
Oh, I'm taking nothing away from that moment. That was a great moment.
Standout guy.
But
that can't be his best moment if we want to turn the Pistons around.
Right. He's failed 2 jobs already. I guess third time's a charm. Is that what Joe D's thinking?
The NBA coach is just not that important of a job. They're really just a glorified babysitter. Is really
wow.
Yeah, I
That is bold.
keep egos in check. Emphasize team basketball to some extent, but the talent is so ridiculous. It's just a matter of motivating, I think.
What do you think about Frank Vogel with Indiana? It's not like he's working with a ton of talent, and he's a great motivator.
Right. I mean, he sort of took the 2004 Pistons approach, where you play tough, solid, physical defense and play as a team, similar with Popovich in San Antonio. I mean, you just got to get the players to buy into a team mindset, which is difficult to do when they're making more money than you.
Like Larry Brown said, you got to play the right way and play as a team. And when those 04 Pistons did that, they were, in my eyes, one of the best teams of all time.
They were one of the best teams.
Yeah.
Teams.
That was a team. There was no superstars there.
Well, now it seems like you need a team of superstars to compete.
You need a couple of superstars, that's for sure. With Indiana, Paul George.
Paul George is emerging as a superstar. I mean, I don't want to call him a superstar, but he's definitely
He's emerging.
All-star caliber. Rory Hibbert has a
Max contract. Yeah.
I mean, you need a 6th and a 7th man off the bench. You need a Harden off the bench these days. He's a starter on 90% of NBA teams. I mean, you need that. That's key to have a guy coming off the bench like that.
Yeah.
And they usually have Granger, too, who's out with injury, who's all-star caliber.
Well, Harden went to Houston, and he starts for them. He's a superstar, and he took him to the playoffs in his first year there with no one else really around him.
Chandler Parsons, you kidding me?
Chandler Parsons, the great white hope.
I mean, there's a lot of talk. There's Mo Cheeks, obviously. I think in the past week or two has developed into what the media is calling the number one candidate. He's been in and out of Detroit a few times. Reading other articles that are saying Larry Brown possibility.
The Larry Brown?
The Larry Brown may seem a little crazy, a little far fetched, but what happened in 2004. So
do you think you need a younger guy?
I don't think age matters.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need a leader. You need a visionary first and foremost, and whoever can provide that, regardless of if they're 25 or 80. Who's the guy at Butler? That just,
Brad Stevens.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, I think he was a consultant for Eli Lilly with an MBA.
Mm-hmm.
Did well in the company, but coaching was his passion. Stepped in the shoes first year. Look what he did.
Yeah.
Regardless of the age. I mean, and that I guess that builds on your point. He is a younger coach, so I think players identify to that. But that's just a unique situation.
I don't think that age has anything to do with success as a head coach. You could be 40, you could be 60, you could be 70 and still get the job done. The guy I'd like to see, and I know we'd have to wait maybe one more game or maybe next week we could bring him in, is Brian Shaw, who's currently Indiana's assistant coach.
Right.
He was a assistant coach under Phil Jackson with the Lakers for a number of years, and he's a former player, but he's not too old. I bet he's in his 30s, maybe early 40s, so he can relate to the players from being a player himself. And he learned under the best. I mean, Phil Jackson is one of the best coaches in any sport, so he's gotten the tutelage to be successful, and he hasn't had a shot yet. I think it's time, give him his first run. He could end up being great and a lifer, or he could fail and we're right back to where we are now. I think with Gore's bringing in Phil Jackson to consult Joe D.
Yeah, that was an interesting move.
And Brian Shaw being one of Phil's old coaches, that could be, something to look at, a connection, or it could be nothing and it's just Gore's not trusting Joe D to make a decision on his own.
Right. I'm reading Dan Leach's article right now, and he was the guy who's talking about Larry Brown. Then he also mentions Jerry Sloan. But his third option, who I like, and this is in the Zen Master's mind, Phil Jackson, Bill Laimbeer. Let's bring him back to Detroit. Let's get the bad boys back together.
Yeah.
Let's get Isaiah Thomas in management as well. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just got to get the boys back together. He was assistant coach with the Timberwolves after a couple championship years in the WNBA with the Shock.
The dynasty.
The dynasty.
Running it.
The bad girls.
Ran him out of town, though. Now they're in Tulsa.
But now he's with the New York Liberty. Let's give the guy a shot. And he's a legit, I'm not just throwing names out here. He's a legit candidate.
Yeah.
I would love to see him back.
He's got head coaching experience. I believe that he was helping coach with either the development league, the D League, or during summer leagues.
And yeah.
So, I mean, he's definitely got the pedigree. I'm sure he would demand respect from his players, just being the kind of guy that he was as a player and I'm sure is as a coach.
Yeah.
Then let's go back to if age matters. I mean, Laimbeer's a good age right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at his track record as a player. People are going to listen to him.
Yes.
It's Bill Laimbeer. Not only is he an NBA legend, he was in the movie Hot Shots. He's a star.
Wow.
Who wouldn't listen to Bill?
Sign him up.
Seriously. Let's get the ink to the paper immediately.
All right, so who do each of you want as head coach? Let's start with you, Milt. Who you want?
I'd like to see Shaw come to town. As an assistant coach a couple of days ago, he got teed up for getting too heated on the bench about a call. So this guy's young. He's got fire. I say we bring him to the D.
D-Mac?
I mean, I think Larry Brown is not a bad option. He has proved himself in Detroit before. I didn't really agree with them when he left.
Would he be welcome back in Detroit though? Because when he left, it wasn't a very happy split.
I know, and I think time will heal all wounds. We couldn't put ourselves in a worse situation, I believe. So I think just based off his history in Detroit, your past, you remember the good things less often than the bad. So. But with that being said, I'm still going with Laimbeer. Let's bring him back and see what he can do.
With that Hot Shots comment, I think I got to go Laimbeer.
Laimbeer?
Yeah.
Sold? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go again with Shaw. I wouldn't mind Laimbeer, though, because the same thought process. Just a younger guy.
Yeah.
Give him a fresh start. Someone who can get in there, get his feet wet.
And I mean, talk about a guy who's going to get the fans ready.
Oh yeah.
Look, I mean, I can't imagine the opening game next year. Detroit Pistons, Auburn Hills, Bill Laimbeer, head coach. Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Can help get that physical identity back.
Maybe he could be one of those old school player coach roles where you could suit up and be the big man off
Jackie
the bench.
Moon.
Jackie Moon.
Yeah, there you go. The Tropics. Let's rename the team while we're at it.
Bring back those teal colors.
Oh yeah, those are hot.
I mean, and then off season, let's get Bill Laimbeer and Will Ferrell doing a commercial together, a promotional ad. Are you
Halftime one-on-one game.
But the only way I want to see Bill Laimbeer suiting up is if he's rocking the short shorts.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
I think that's the only way he plays.
Probably.
It's the right way to play.
It's the right way to play.
Although with the way the NBA is called now, he probably wouldn't last 2 minutes in a game. He'd be out of there, fined $75,000.
Seriously.
All right, while we're talking about the NBA, let's go into the playoffs. And Roy Hibbert has been making news for the wrong reasons. He he made a gay slur during his post-game press conference and was fined $75,000. Keep in mind, he also dropped an MFer in there, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. But keeping in mind that $75,000 amount, another recent gay slur fine in the NBA was Kobe Bryant 2 years ago, and he got fined $100,000 for it. So I don't have a problem with the fines. I just would wish that the NBA would be a little bit more consistent with their penalties.
Everyone read those lips, and
I mean, but Kobe's Kobe. You gotta make a bigger example of him. He's Kobe.
But Kobe's was on the court. It wasn't like it was deliberate
Right.
and people were supposed to hear it.
But
they were
then-
going off of him mouthing it on video.
Yeah.
Where Hibbert was standing there with the press conference with all eyes on him.
True.
yeah,
And dropped
Yeah.
the gay slur.
I mean, Hibbert was more like premeditated. Kobe was in the heat of the moment.
Right.
And Hibbert had 20 cameras on him. He was
Yeah.
being recorded. He knew what he was doing. So
Yeah.
at the same time, regardless of he's a good player, but
If anything, I think they should be flipped. When you add on the MFer to the media, I think that Hibbert should have been the one with the $100,000 fine,
Sure.
and Kobe was $75,000.
he should have got tagged 100,000 each time
He should
for
have.
2 comments.
Yeah.
and he knew he was going to be fined. Like he said it immediately after he said it, and he didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, he's got a max contract, so what does he care?
Right.
That's still a lot of money, though.
I mean, what should his penalty be? Is that fine sufficient? What else should there be?
Well, I know some people have talked about a suspension. I don't know if a suspension is necessary for something like that.
Going into game 7.
Going into Game
No
7,
way,
he's
man.
one of the premier players at his position, so the NBA definitely wants him there.
Did he come out and make a public apology?
Yeah, he made a public apology.
Sure.
Maybe he should go into the octagon with Jason Collins.
See, I was thinking more on the lines of like him, Jason Collins, and Ellen DeGeneres doing like a public service announcement, just hugging it out, maybe
Yeah.
a kiss on the cheek. I mean, just something to show the public that.
You mean Hibbert kissing Collins on the cheek?
Well, look at
Kiss on
there
the
you-
cheek.
well, duh. Look at our boy Mr. Slim Shady with Elton John.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, there's a
True.
performance at the Grammys.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
and then I mean that's an example right there. He needs to really show that he's sorry. I'm a little fed up with seeing $75,000 fines with multi-million-dollar big name players. I mean, these guys need to start shelling out time. I mean, money comes to them. I wouldn't say easily. They've worked to get what they have, but these guys need to start doing some kind of community service
Right.
hours. Like every bad comment you say, depending on the severity of it, you're doing 10 hours of community service.
Mhm.
Every time Sue kicks a player in the head, he's putting in 20 hours of community service.
So we're recording during the game, but Milt, who do you think is going to win tonight?
Tonight I got to put my money on Miami. They're at home, and they're a little more seasoned than the Pacers. They're the defending champs, so why not?
Danny?
I would absolutely love if the Pacers won, but if I'm betting money, I'm going with the Heat.
D-Mac, you want to fill us in on a bet that somebody made?
Yeah, I mean, if we're on that note, I think Mayweather's going to have to agree with you, Danny. Are you going to take that spread, -7?
I got no money to bet.
Yeah. Are you gonna take that spread though? If you had to, if you're doing a Vegas bet here, let's pretend they allow you to put down $1.
The spread's -7.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Let's go with it. I'm going with it.
All right. Well, we're gonna do a $5 bet then.
All right.
Good.
$5.
You got $5?
I'll have to talk to my accountant.
Yeah. Good. Good. Well, you heard it. You heard it here because we're actually recording right now. It's 8:30 Monday night, so we don't actually know who's gonna win. But Floyd Mayweather believes he knows. He just put was it $5.9 million, or I think it was $5.7 million on the spread, which is -7. So he's taking Miami. He's taking LeBron. He's taking Bosh. He's taking Wade. Honestly, Mitch, after you compared to that 03-04 championship team, the team, the defense, they brought it all together. I'm going with the Pacers. I like that. I like that approach. So I'm going to take them. I'm going to take Pacers by 3. What about you, Mitch?
Well, going off of Mayweather's track record as a bettor, I'm going to have to go against him and take the Pacers. I think it's an easy decision. I'm going Pacers in a close one. I'm going to take them by 2. So Danny's going to do his weekly segment, which is called Danny's Sports Hero of the Week. You want to explain it?
Yeah, so we got my Sports Hero of the Week. Basically, as someone who does something to impress me off the court.
What does it take to impress Danny Weiss?
I mean, I have pretty high standards of action in general.
Clearly.
But, I'll give you an example this week. I got Quincy Pondexter, who is a forward on the Grizzlies, just got eliminated from the playoffs. After the elimination, he was a little lonely and decided to look for a date via Twitter. So he tweets who won Miss Tennessee this year. And after a series of interactions on Twitter, he landed a date with Miss Tennessee, Chandler Lawson. And, things are looking good for Quincy.
I mean, Miss Tennessee, that's,
Yeah, she's looking like a nice little blonde.
Little Southern Belle.
What a nice consolation prize for getting knocked out.
Wait, and
Yeah.
here's a question for us. I saw that Michael Conley tweeted, who's their point guard. What are the chances he gets a second date?
Ooh.
Did she say yes?
She said yes.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, she's no Mrs. Kentucky, but she'll do, I guess.
Not only did she say yes, she said we're going to have an audience too. So she's...
Well, yeah, I would definitely want to be in a public place with Quincy Pondexter as well. Do you think the parents will accompany the on the date, like traditional kind of setup? I mean, it is Tennessee.
Yeah.
Anyways, Quincy, we're proud of you. We hope the date goes well. And I'm pulling you for a second date. I'm giving a 70% chance of a second date.
70% chance?
Yeah.
Wow. What are you, a weather forecaster?
Yeah,
well, hopefully not for Quincy because they're never right.
No, I mean, 70%, that's pretty up there, though.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking this is a publicity stunt for Miss Tennessee to get her name out there. But you never know. True love comes in many forms.
No, the brothers love like this.
And we could see the next future ex Miss Pondexter.
Well, I'm sure that if she's using Pondexter to maybe become Miss USA, I don't think Pondexter's gonna care too much. I wouldn't mind being used by her.
Not at all.
I think she's gonna hyphenate though. She'll be Chandler Lawson Pondexter. She looks like a hyphenator.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Just like Milton Marcus Lafayette Quinn the Third over here.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Don't mess it up.
The third.
Because I'm 3 times better than you.
Are you on RG3's level or what?
I'm a little bit more seasoned than him, but
Wow.
Yeah, he's close.
Better knees.
He's coming soon.
Better knees, yo. Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, but when RG3 goes down, you know who comes in?
Who?
Kirk, the Captain Cousins, D'Antonio's boy.
Since you mentioned D'Antonio, we'll segue into the part of the show where we talk about Michigan and Michigan State. For those of you that don't know, Milton, Danny, and myself are Michigan fans, with D-Mac being the lone Spartan dog.
Excuse me?
Ooh.
Is that a derogatory?
Spartan dogs.
Never heard that one.
It's rude.
So
We're actually Spartans, and we eat Wolverines for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with a side of badger and gopher. I'm a meat eater. I'm a caveman.
you're a caveman.
I'm on that paleo diet.
I'm actually doing the paleo diet
Really? How's that
right
working?
now. Lost 5 ounces.
Yeah.
5 ounces.
Yeah.
Last
Well,
time
hey.
you went to the bathroom.
We got to start somewhere, though. Baby steps.
Roughly a third of a pound.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to
Thank you.
back to D'Antonio. Coming off of his back-to-back 11-win seasons in 2010 and 2011, he was a hot name when some of the SEC jobs are becoming available.
That was past tense. He is a hot name.
Okay, in maybe your mind, but and with the current landscape of college football, with the SEC being the dominant conference and
Clearly.
and providing the most money for coaches and recruits and their own players, do you think that he should have struck when he had the opportunity to leave the Big Ten, much like Brett Bielema did with Wisconsin going to Arkansas? Do you think?
I mean, D'Antonio he's a Midwest boy. He started out his career in Ohio. He's a Zanesville, Ohio native. He's been, he worked with Tressel. He's worked with Saban at Michigan State, Bobby Williams. So I mean, he's invested his the majority of his career here. I think it's in his best interest to stay. His record is 51-28 at Michigan State since arriving in 2007. He's at back-to-back 11-win seasons. He's taken us to 6 bowls, consecutive years. I mean, he's turning the program around. He's given alumni a reason to come to the games. I mean, Michigan State fans, we've had a drought for the better part of 2 decades, and I mean, he's really putting Izzo obviously has us on the back end with basketball, and we're a legit topic of conversation in the realm of football now. What were we, the number 6 ranked defense?
Yeah.
Last year. I mean, we got what do we have coming in? We have 7 defensive starters returning, and then just to add on to that, 8 offensive returners coming back.
But is that a good thing with the offense? That's an anemic offense.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
and you lose your 3 best players.
Yeah, no,
or 2 best players from the offense.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, again, defense wins championships, and your boy Lloyd Carr will attest to that.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So I mean, and on that note, how do you feel? I'm not a big fan of Hokie.
Hoke.
It's Hoke.
And yeah, how do you feel about Hoke in Ann Arbor?
Well, I love Hoke. When he first got hired, I didn't really know much about him. I knew that he was the defensive line coach for the '97 national championship team,
and that he looks good in the visor. Yeah,
he looks
absolutely.
No, he doesn't rock a visor. He goes t-shirt in any weather, rain, sleet,
and the sunglasses,
snow, the sunglasses.
Sunglasses in the rain. That's swag.
But what I like about him is that he comes from a Michigan background, and he understands the tradition there and how things operate. And in his first year as coach, they went 11-2, won the Sugar Bowl, and he took a defense not on his own with the help of defensive coordinator Greg Madison. They took a defense that was ranked in the 100s, and they were I believe in the 20s in their first year. So just a complete turnaround,
So I mean, is he gonna be the next Bo or Lloyd? I mean, obviously those are huge shoes to fill.
Huge.
But does he have that potential?
Well, I think he does. It's trending that way. Last season maybe was a step back from the 11-2 season, but they also played probably the toughest schedule in all of college football, playing both teams that went to the national championship, an undefeated Ohio State team, South Carolina in the bowl game. So that's 4 of the 5 losses right there.
Yeah.
And he's bringing in some tremendous recruiting classes, and I know that ranking doesn't always mean everything, but with his ability to take that defense that was so bad and make it so good in just 1 year, I think kind of speaks to his ability to coach these players up. And I don't know. I mean, it's only 2 years, so it's kind of hard to tell. They say you can't really judge a coach's abilities until the 3rd or 4th year. So we'll see. The Big Ten is also down a bit from where it usually is.
Oh yeah,
so
it's rough to watch.
Yes.
Sometimes.
So I think it's still a little bit of an unknown, but I definitely like the way that it's trending. And he has to win a Big Ten championship at some point if he's gonna get an extension and be a long term. You can't just keep bringing in recruiting classes and going to Outback Bowls. He's got to win the championship. But the way it's going, I think the future is definitely bright.
Yeah, I mean, next year you guys are bringing back 12 players, which is actually ranked the last. All the Big Ten teams are returning more players than Michigan is. 6 offense, 6 defense. But honestly, I'm not a Michigan fan. When Michigan's in a bowl game against an SEC team, I'll take Michigan. But I love Gardner.
Yeah.
He is a stud.
Yeah, those last 5 games, he had a passer efficiency rating of, I think, 161, which is 20 points higher than Taylor Martinez, which his 141 led the Big Ten. With the 5 games, Gardner didn't play enough to qualify for that stat.
What year is he again?
He is a redshirt. He'll be entering his redshirt junior season, so he has 2 more seasons.
Right.
So I could see him potentially getting some national attention. Maybe not after this season, but heading into next season, if he performs similar to the last 5 games of last season, I could see him being a national name. And maybe even this year. I mean, if he plays well enough this year, he could even maybe leave for the NFL. He's got the stature. Reminds me of Vince Young with the way he plays. Maybe more of a natural passer than Vince Young and not quite as athletic. But
yeah, we all saw what happened to Vince Young.
Right. I think that was more mental with Vince Young than was his physical abilities.
I think he got sidetracked with Miss Tennessee.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that a lot.
What, Miss Tennessee?
Yeah.
That's good.
Those blonde locks. Yeah, well, one thing that really impressed me with Devin Gardner, which I don't think he got enough credit for, is that he played receiver. He was one of our top receiving options for the first half of the season, then immediately went to quarterback and was able to play both positions at a high level. I mean, that athletic ability and football IQ is just ridiculous to be able to do that.
Is he a potential first rounder?
I think it's too early to say that. Are you talking about after this year?
As a U of M fan, you should just say yes, because.
Well, I want to be knowledgeable. Do I think he could be one down the road? Yeah. I don't know about after this season.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not a Michigan guy, but Gardner is a stud. He's got potential all over him.
The game this year is in East Lansing at Spartan Stadium,
as it should be every
where
year.
all the Spartan dogs will be out there,
and all the
hooting and hollering.
Actually attractive ladies will be. Yes, that is true.
So DMAC and I are going to enter into a little bet on the game. No points involved.
No spread.
No spreads.
Okay.
Straight up. Which I'm doing you a favor on that one, being as the game's in.
You're right, because we'll probably win. You're right.
But
anyways,
so bet straight up, loser has to wear the opponent team colors, preferably maybe a jersey or a hat or a T-shirt that's big and bold.
I'm thinking whatever.
Yeah, I think you got to set definitive guidelines here. Is it
okay.
Jersey?
Here's whatever the other guy has them wear. You know, if I have a state hat, a jersey, pants, underwear, I do.
I'm thinking everything.
Yeah.
Head to toe.
Whatever the loser provides, or whatever the winner provides the loser wear, that's what they have to wear.
Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
That's fair. And then once properly attired, the loser, probably DMAC, will walk up and down Main Street in Royal Oak singing the Michigan fight song, and he will keep those clothes, that attire, nice and clean for our show the Monday after the game, and he will be dressed head to toe in Michigan gear during the recording.
So you'll wear Michigan State gear, run up and down singing our fight song. Are we doing this on Main Street?
This is on Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I might need a sheet of paper.
And we're gonna find a loudspeaker.
Oh, we're bringing a loudspeaker into this.
Yeah, and it's on Main Street. It's gonna be from First Street to Fifth Avenue Bar.
I'll be documenting all of this.
Or no, it's gonna
via camera.
Let's do what's the First Street to Ye Olde Saloon. So it's just right down Main Street past the train tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at Ye Olde Saloon, we will indulge in multiple beverages to celebrate the Michigan victory.
Water and orange juice.
Yeah. Gotta stay hydrated, man.
Milk.
I was thinking more of the carbonated hoppy drink.
You like hops?
Yes.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our first episode. On behalf of the Cavemen, this is your host, Mitch. Thank you for tuning in, and you may now exit the Man Cave.